PES 2021 will take the form of a season update, while Konami works on revamping the series for its debut on the next generation. However, big changes could come with more development time, meaning there should be plenty to look forward to when PES 2022 drops. Here are some things we'd like to see from the next gen version, which will see PES make its debut on Unreal Engine. Online Master League. Master League is one of the series' staple modes, and for many players, it's how they spend much of their time each year. This is a place where regens become legends, and names like Castolo and Menanda will mean something to anyone who has invested time in the old default lineup you could begin with. Every Master League player has a story to tell their mates, so why not let people enjoy the ride together? Taking the list of nobodies to European glory with an online friend would be amazing. This mode is built for a shared experience, and the possibility of being able to play it with someone who isn't in your home would elevate the fun. It doesn't need to be online against other players, just give us the normal Master League with online co-op. Konami introduced Master League Online in PES 2011, but it wasn't really Master League and played more like what we now know as My Club. But if the developers do this properly and even include cross-platform play, PES 2022 would have the potential to rank amongst the best ever. Better online stability. Whilst we're on the subject of playing online, Konami needs to improve the online experience for PES 2022. Loading times and matchmaking can really drag at times, and when you do get into a game, lag is frequently a problem for a lot of players. Delayed button presses can wreak havoc on your ability to play effectively, so it makes for a frustrating experience. All too often you won't even get to finish matches because they'll cut out. New infrastructure is needed to produce a much smoother next-gen experience. Improved menu system. Another area that needs vast improvement is the menu system. PES's menus are slow, verbose, and remain confusing to navigate. It's hard to state how much this can put new players off when compared to Fifa's slick look. Menus are wordy and often require too many screens to sift through unnecessarily, plus they aren't even good to look at. This isn't a new problem though, so it's strange how Konami have never decided to rework things. The series will get a fresh start with PES 2022, so it's the perfect time for them to provide a complete overhaul. My Club revamp. PES's My Club mode's biggest advantage over Fifa's Ultimate Team is that building a great team doesn't require spending on packs or endless grinding from players. Lots of freebies, such as Maradona, are given out over the year to keep people competitive. There's an argument that it's too easy to build a great team, but that's more acceptable than having to spend money to keep up. However, where My Club falls down compared to its counterpart is that there isn't enough to it. Content updates are consistent, but it's never really differentiated and the challenges are too similar. PES 2020 didn't introduce much in the way of meaningful updates from the previous year, and the competitions you can play don't feel that worthwhile. The most notable addition was the Matchday mode, but that can only be played during a relatively short window each day, which feels a little bit restrictive. When PES 2022 rolls around, we want significant additions to My Club. It doesn't need to be a FIFA-style weekend league, but something greater to work towards would make all the difference. Net animation rework. With PES 2022 set to run on next-gen hardware and switch over to the Unreal Engine, we're expecting even better visuals from next year's offering from Konami. We'd also like to see some improved animations, especially when it comes to the goal nets. When the ball hits the back of the net, it flows out a bit too long and sometimes travels at odd angles that don't fit the trajectory of the shot. Ultimately, it lacks oomph. PES is great for scoring lots of different types of goals, but the net ripple could reflect them better. Net animations might not be as important as player animations, but right now they don't feel quite right, and that affects the satisfaction of what should be the most rewarding aspect of any football sim, scoring goals. More regen faces. Regen players can form a big part of the Master League experience, particularly if you stick with a career long term and continue on season after season. However, there's not much variety when it comes to how regen players look. They all tend to have very similar faces, even players of completely different ethnicities. With the move to the Unreal Engine next year, we're hoping Konami take the time to craft more varied looks for the regens to give them all a little bit more identity and make them much more memorable. Skills revamp. Pulling off skill moves in PES 2020 is tricky, with many of them requiring precise movements of the analog sticks to execute successfully. Because they're difficult to master and use, many players will avoid attempting them altogether rather than risk failing and losing possession cheaply as a result. Changing the way they're executed to make it a little easier should make the game friendlier to casual players and inject even more fun into the gameplay by giving us more options in one-on-one situations. However, it's important skills aren't implemented as cheaply as FIFA, where players can string together endless combinations without much hassle or downside. PES 2022 is still a long way away, but what do you want to see added? Let us know in the comments below.